Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I thought it'd be interesting to whiz you guys through some of the classics that I have finished so far this year. I say so far because as I'm filming this, there's still a couple of months left of 2022 and I still have 2 on my 5 classics that I want to read for this year left pending on my to be read. So if you're interested in the original 5 that I picked out for this year, I'll link it in the cards for you to watch. So yeah, I'm just gonna whiz through these, give you a little bit of info. I'll probably put the star rating up on the screen because I just don't have that to hand right now. And some of these are a little bit skewered, so I might have a newer publication. So the publication is like a newer release and I don't have the original date that it first came out, and some of these you might be like, does that really count as a classic, because it's not like 1930s, it's kind of like on the cusp of 2000s which sounds awful, but I don't know, I just want to class it. So some of them aren't really kind of classics, but they're older books than I would typically go for. It's encouraging me to pick up older works and then inspire me further to read more actual classics. So the first one that I read in 2022 is The Tooth by Shirley Jackson, which is a collection of 5, I believe, scary short stories. This particular edition by Penguin Modern Classics came out in 2011, but the short stories themselves obviously have been published throughout the years, earlier years in time, and then they've just been compiled together in this little ensemble. Unfortunately, this one was a bit of a for me. It was my first foray into Shirley Jackson, and I'm not put off to try others because there are some more that I really do want to read from her, but this one just wasn't it for me. I don't know if it was just the short form and not being able to sink my teeth properly into the stories, or if it was just the content that wasn't that interesting to me specifically. But yeah, so we have The Tooth, which was the first classic that I dived into, which was nice being a little short one, you know. After that, completely opposite in terms of enjoyment, I read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and this was released in 1938. I absolutely adored this one. I'm pretty sure I've got a full book review for this on the channel, so if you are interested, I will also link that in the cards. But this one is gothic horror, kind of, not horror in the sense of frightening, but it's like that suspenseful, thrilling, kind of eerie, atmospheric story, and absolutely adored this one. As I say, review in cards if you're interested in more details. Can't find my copy of this, I don't know where I've popped it, but I have A Maze of Death by Philip K. Dick. This one was released in 1970. Also very much enjoyed this one. It's more of like a sci-fi kind of dystopian story, bit of horror going on there as well, psychedelic kind of, I don't know, like it makes you really think and it's quite frightening when you think about it deeply. But yeah, that was a good one too. And then one that I borrowed from the library was Don't Panic, Douglas Adams and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Neil Gaiman. This one came out in 1986 and it was basically all about Douglas Adams as, you know, a person, an author. It was kind of like a biography piece about him and his success and rise to fame through the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy franchise. So yeah, that was an interesting one too. Then we have Kiki's Delivery Service by HardcoreCupcakeHailstorm. This one came out in 1985. I did a reading vlog for like a Studio Ghibli themed moment. This one was included, but yeah, this was very delightful. I enjoyed my time reading this. It's about witches, so you know, as the time I'm filming this, it's like coming onto the cusp of Halloween, so it'd be perfect for that sort of time. But it is just very quaint and very darling, and yeah, a sweet little story. Well, a selection of stories. It kind of feels like vignettes, short stories compiled into this kind of one narrative, like, I don't know, this one plot of this little witch girl finding her way and growing up, coming of age. It's very adorable. Another one that I borrowed from the library was The Water Babies by Charles Kingsley. This one was released in 1863. It was, I mean, I enjoyed my time reading it. It was a strange little one. I enjoyed my time in the story, but it's probably not one that's going to stay with me for an awful long time. To be honest, I've forgotten a lot of it already. And then we have The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. This one came out in 1848. This one I did a buddy read with Jem from Read a Book Jem, and yeah, this one was awesome. This was such a good book, really enjoyed it. It's got that kind of gothic atmospheric storytelling again. We're following this like very isolated, this small village mentality. Everyone starts gossiping when a new lady and her son comes into the village, and she's kind of shrouded in mystery, and we're following the perspective of this young man who's kind of at like eligible age for marriage. So we've got snippets of people trying to woo him trying to woo others, but he's fixated on the mystery of this Mrs. Graham and her story, and you get kind of an understanding of where she's run from, who she is, and relationships building. So this one was a really good book, and I think it was my first Anne Bronte as well. Another Studio Ghibli inspired book. This one was My Neighbor Totoro by Hayao Miyazaki, but the novelisation of it was by Sugiko Kubo, and again, all thoughts of this is in a vlog. I think I've also done book versus movies for this one and Kiki's Delivery Service as well. Then I have The Sandman Volume 2, The Doll's House by Neil Gaiman. This one came out in 1989. I've recently started getting back into this because of the anticipation for the series that have come out on Netflix, but I still at this moment in time have not watched that series. But yeah, I just wanted to get back into this world and kind of re-immerse myself back into the comic franchise, and yeah, that's what I did. Then I have a book that I listened through YouTube audiobook, and this one was The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury, which came out in 1972. This is my second Ray Bradbury. Why can I not say that? This is my second Ray Bradbury. The first one I read last year was Something Wicked This Way Comes, and that was also kind of like Halloweeny in vibe. So this one kind of had that similar tone. It was strange. I think I would do I think I would benefit, from going back and reading the physical version of it, just to kind of tie together some of the details, the little details that I think I missed, because when I listened to the audiobook version, I actually listened to a ASMR one. It was Ramble Reads ASMR, and so I was really listening to it just to unwind, and I weren't always taken in the actual story itself. So I do think it might be beneficial to go back and actually digest all of the story in the future. But nevertheless, what I actually did consume and understand, I did enjoy. And then finally, the last classic so far that I've read in 2022 is Mythago Wood by Robert Holdstock. This one came out in 1988. I really enjoyed this one, so much so that I was super pumped when I realised it was part of a wider series. So there's a few more books in this. I want to say like 5, maybe some more, I'm not too sure. But this was great. It was like, I don't even know how to properly describe you in my own words this book, but let me just read the back. To be honest, I don't even think the back does it enough justice, but here we go. Deep within the wildwood lies a place of myth and mystery, from which few return, and of those few, none remain unchanged. Stephen Huxley has already lost his father to the mysteries of Ryehope Wood. On his return from the Second World War, he finds his brother, Christopher, is also enthralled to the mysterious wildwood, wherein lies a realm where mythic archetypes grow flesh and blood, where love and beauty haunt your dreams, and in promises of freedom lies the sanctuary of insanity. It was a mesmerising read. So that's it. Those are all the classics so far in 2022 that I have read. There is still time to squeeze in a couple more, I'm sure, and I'm hoping the last 2 on my TBR can get read, but we shall see. Let me know what classics you've been dipping your toes into this year, and yeah, I shall catch you in another video soon. Bye!